Today we're talking a little bit about childhood poverty and some social policy we can use to address that. According to the National Center for Children and Poverty, it's about 44% nationally of our children are living in low-income families. That really is concerning to think that nearly half of our country's children are growing up without enough resources to really be as successful as they could be. It's going to have health effects, effects in education, but it's definitely something we need to address. I think one thing we can do in terms of social policy is look at education. Can we educate people on financial literacy? Can we work with our banks to have an opportunity for people to be able to open checking accounts or savings accounts without a minimum balance? I think that's a great way for people to start kind of investing and saving if they can do that without having this, I have to keep $100 in my account attitude. I also think it's important to reward people when they do save. So maybe if they're able to open a 529 college savings plan, could employers match that? Or could there be some kind of interest rate benefit to individuals who are able to do that each year and really reward that good behavior? I also think it's important to think about how do we educate people on abstinence and safe sex. The NGA reports that nearly 42% of people who are born into teen mothers without being married are living in poverty. So that's an incredibly high number to think about 42% of children born to teen mothers are living in poverty. So I think important there is how do we provide access to contraceptives? Do we have a way that people can get condoms without having to face the embarrassment of going to the store and buying those? Going and asking a pharmacist, hey, I need a box of condoms could be very embarrassing for a high school student. So how do we provide those in a free environment where they don't have to suffer that embarrassment? Could be impactful. I think one thing we can also do is look at minimum wage. I think Great Britain has implemented a model that really works well. There's low costs to the government, but increasing minimum wage and setting up the scale where minimum wage increases with inflation has really done a lot to combat poverty in the UK. I also think we have to look at unemployment insurance. And only 35% of people receive unemployment benefits. So for someone who's a low-income worker, part-time, losing your job could be very impactful. And if you don't have that opportunity to use unemployment benefits, that could really make the decision between having shelter or being able to eat and not. Something else Walpole talks about in terms of the UK model that worked for them was how they worked with tax credits. So anyone who is going to be receiving tax credits at the end of the year because of income status no longer has to wait till the end of the year. They actually get their tax credits on a monthly basis, so they actually have more money coming into their pocket every month. One other thing I think we really need to look at is payday loans. For quick cash flow, that's a really great program, but on a regular basis could be detrimental. A lot of people are seeing these loan rates of interest rates of 80%. So if you go borrow $100 and pay it back and you have to pay $180 to pay off that loan, that's really impactful. So I think looking at a way to kind of get those rates more competitive, but also standardize the rate and put a maximum in place so it's not constantly a cycle of poverty. People can use those for quick cash injections much like they were intended. I also think it's important to meet people where they are, and that's probably the single biggest challenge of working with this population. How can we ensure that food banks and places that want to help are meeting people where they are in the community? So are people living in poverty have an opportunity to have food delivered to them? Can they access a food bank easily by public transportation and not have to worry about people knowing, oh, that person's going to the food bank, they're very hungry or living in poverty? How can we do that in a way that it's not detrimental to them but encourages them to do that and really does look at long-term effects? So I think those are some quick ways to kind of address those. Long-term, I think we could see some real benefits if we take on that stance.